Hello, good afternoon. Coming up on the marketplace, gas production increases significantly by 65%, the highest recorded half-year volume of gas produced since the country began production. We have details on this one. Also, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana predicts an increase in fuel prices next year following the recent U.S. elections. Plus, tourist sites in the country receive major boost under the sector ministry's initiative dubbed Site Upgrade Grant Scheme. We have details on this one coming up shortly after this break. Hello once again, I'm Charles Aite. Be minded that even as we bring you Marketplace this afternoon, we're also on standby for the NDC's weekly press conference from their headquarters, which I'll give you the update as and when we get the live feed. But moving on, cumulative raw gas production from the country's oil field increased significantly by 65%. Now, this is the highest recorded half-year volume of gas produced since 2010. This is according to the Public Interest and Accountability Committee semi-annual report for the first half of the year 2020. There is more in the following Business Desk report. Ghana recorded the highest raw gas production for the first half of the year 2020, despite disruptions caused by the global pandemic of the coronavirus. The cumulative raw gas production for the first half of this year was more than 116 million standard cubic feet. This represents a 65% increase over the last year's production and the highest recorded since 2010. Gas production from the Jubilee and 10 fields increased by 30% each, whilst the SGN field recorded a significant increase of about 130%. Meanwhile, crude oil production in the first half of 2020 reduced marginally relative to that of 2019. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana is predicting that there will be an increase in fuel prices next year. According to them, the change in government in the United States is likely to affect the supply of crude oil, as Joe Biden, the presidential-elect, is more inclined to environmental protection and may put a cap on shale technology. The Executive Director, Duncan Amoah, made this projection as he spoke on some issues concerning petroleum and energy on the sidelines after a workshop organized to create media awareness on petroleum and energy issues.
If you look at the just ended elections, these are people who probably are more concerned about environmental issues and as such are more likely to move away from shale technology, which Trump has used over the past 4 years to flood the oil market. Once the Democrats decide to put a capping on shale because it destroys the environment, what it means is that supply side is going to take a hit. The Americans may not be pumping in as much as they pumping this year. And so these indicators will tell you that 2021 is likely to see oil prices go above the $50 mark. Say we fear for Ghanaians the period after elections 2020. Whoever emerges is likely to want to overburden Ghanaians further with more taxes, especially on petroleum products.
Should that happen, what does Quebec are doing?
We do think that we can only preempt the situation, advise that authorities should take steps to prevent it. If we get to that bridge, however, where we are being told that the neck-breaking taxes is not enough, we should pay more, I'm sure together with Ghanaians would advise ourselves accordingly.
His advice, what advice?
It could mean anything. It could be civil protests. It could be suits. It could be unrest. It could be anything. Class actions. Fuel smuggling is still an issue. People are, getting rich by the minute. Monies that would have accrued to the state, it enters private pockets. If you allow these millions and billions into private pockets and you come back to tax the trotro driver further, that cannot be fairness.
Away from that, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts says it has begun upgrading major tourist sites across the country. Now, the initiative dubbed Site Upgrade Grant Scheme will ensure the development of selected tourist sites across the country. Speaking at the Meet the Press series in Accra, the Minister Barbara Otinjesi said the move forms part of a measure adopted to grow the tourism industry and revive the sector from the constraints of COVID-19.
The Sites Upgrade Grant Scheme is to improve the image of selected tourist sites across the country to ensure better tourist experience that will yield repeat visits and recommendations from our visiting tourists. To this end, preparatory works are being finalized on the following sites. The Slave Routes Project, which will ensure that our visitors who are interested in the slave trade can experience the routes that the slaves traveled from all the way from the north to the south and then ended up in the various dungeons in the central region. The Crafts Village Project in the northern region, which will showcase our various crafts as well as our smoke of the northern region. The Kintampo Waterfalls Iconic Site Phase 1 project, the improvements to the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, the improvements to the Mole National Park, improvements to the Shai Resorts, introduction of a slave heritage museum, works which are ongoing at the Bonre Kente Museum, which we recently cut the sword for, the Kwewu Ojuanhuma paragliding site, which we recently commissioned, the Tafi Atome Monkey Sanctuary Phase 1 project, which we also recently commissioned, the Tete Kwashi Cocoa Museum, which we are going to commission this afternoon, as well as a gold museum, which we have started engagements on, and we are hopeful that next year work can begin.
Well, let's stay with the tourism minister because she has noted a draft bill for a heritage and culture fund has been presented to cabinet for approval. This will ensure the preservation of various UNESCO tourist sites across the country.
The Tourism Tourist Sites Regulations 2019 LI 2383, the Tourism and Travel Trade Regulations 2019 LI 2383, and these LIs will support the work of the Ghana Tourism Authority in performing its regulatory functions of the tourism industry. With regards to the provision of adequate funding for the conservation and preservation of heritage assets, such as our forts and castles, the Heritage and Culture Fund Bill has been drafted for cabinet consideration and approval. This will ensure that these heritage sites retain their status as UNESCO World Heritage Sites.
Let's move away from the tourism industry because the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, through the Partnership for Inclusive Agricultural Transformation in Africa, has secured a buy-in from US aid. Under the buy-in, AGRA has engaged services of a seed industry consultant to support the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and the National Seed Trade Association of Ghana. This is to streamline and enhance legislative as well as regulatory components of Ghana's seed industry. The policy officer at AGRA, Dr. Dorothy Efa, said this as part of a two-day workshop on operational guidelines for seed legislation. Kwame Yanka has more in this report.
Over the years, AGRA has helped improve the condition of the smallholder farmers through improvements in yields. It has also extended support to research institutions in breeding, including rice currently being cultivated as well as certified seed cultivation. With support to government in the development of policies, acts and rectifying the ECOWAS regulation, Ghanaians can export or import seeds from the sub-region. Despite having Plant and Fertilizer Act 2010, National Seed Regulation among others, there are still challenges. Policy Officer at AGRA, Dr. Dorothy Efa, believes more needs to be done to save the country's seed sector.
This legislation, this act, these policies exist, but we still have issue with something like seed adulteration and also low germination of seed. And this can be attributed to issues like people not even being aware of the legislation, so they don't know what exactly they're supposed to do. And also, most of these regulations are not enforced. Why? It could even be that the enforcement agents themselves are even not aware what they're supposed to do. And some of the farmers, as well as even seed growers and even seed traders, they may not even know what is expected of them. But everything is specified in the policies as well as the regulations, even the moisture level, even the packaging material, and even where you are supposed even to cultivate your seed farm.
Consultant Josiah Webber admits high level of awareness must be created when it comes to seed legislation.
Even for proponents, these laws have not featured the way they should feature. So AGRA has had dialogue with all the partners, and it is agreed that the time has come to create a high level of awareness of seed legislation in Ghana and to assist practitioners on how to utilize seed legislation to enhance the conduct of the industry, bring more profit to the actors, more benefits to the beneficiaries, more enhancement of our agricultural dispensation for Ghana, and also position Ghana to become a very, very active and credible partner in the ECOWAS harmonized seed market, which has just opened up.
Deputy Director, Plant Protection and Regulatory Services Directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Kwesi Wee, is advocating for rigorous campaign among key stakeholders.
Yeah, what we are advocating for is to ensure that there is a rigorous campaign and sensitization among the key stakeholders in the system. Because like you are saying, it's not everybody that is aware that even the recent seed certification regulation has been published. So we need to sensitize, we need to ensure that every key stakeholder in the seed value chain is aware about what is happening in the system, so that at least they will be able to do exactly what they expect to be done. The government has done a lot, tremendous effort to ensure that the seed industry strives very well. But like I said, if you have plenty of children and you are looking after them, the resources will not be able to cater them very well. Oh, we have received a lot of support, but like I said, we need more to ensure that whatever assignment that is assigned to us, we do it efficiently.
For President of the Farmers Organization Network, Dr. King David Amoa, farmers need more viable seeds.
There is this program that is going on about coming up with harmonization and the regulation and the legislation on seed. And I think this will go a long way to help us, especially with certified and quality seed for we, the farmers. For the farmers are the end users of all the seeds that are produced. We recollect that some time ago, the seeds that were brought were not viable. We planted and the germination rate was very poor. But now, if there are regulations and legislation to making sure that they produce quality and certified seed, it will benefit us.
Meanwhile, Deputy Director at Crop Services and Head of the Seed Unit, Dr. Solomon Janansan, is a bit worried about Ghana's seed security.
Specific example is pluralistic extension. We want to make sure that our extension services, we include even the private sector. Apart from that, we talk of national seed security stock. I think we should have a provision on national seed security. In times of disaster, my brother, as I'm talking to you now, we don't have stocks that perhaps we might fall on. And such a provision, for me, I think it should be in the law. See, so these are some of the lapses that I'm talking about. It must be in the law so that at least when it has that legal backing, we can really implement it.
The workshop brought together stakeholders in Ghana and the National Agricultural Seed Council in Nigeria with support from USAID. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy Business.
Still watching the marketplace. Let's now talk football. Yeah, because the game has evolved over time, and from being just a game that people love to become a contributor to economic growth. It is said to be the 17th largest global economy, and in some countries where the game is properly managed, it's very profitable. On a repeat of the Joy Business Van, we bring you the story of entrepreneur Robert Coleman, who is contributing to the development of the game here in Ghana with the ambition of constructing an artificial park in every constituency. The spotlight is on the Wembley Sports Construction Company. Take a look.
Children playing on bare pitches. Ask any of them, they tell you the ambition is to become football stars and play in major leagues around the world. And why not? Football has become very profitable and players' wages are on the rise. And quite a number of Ghanaian players are making it big. Asamoah Gyan, Stephen Appiah, Michael Essien, the Ayew brothers, the list goes on. But they all started from the bare pitch. Robert Coleman is a lover of sports, football to be precise, and he wants to see the game develop. That was enough motivation to start a business to construct artificial pitches across the country.
What drove me to go into artificial turfs has to do with the passion. Because when you look at the pitches, the dilapidated pitches, the Sakura parks, the gravels that we have all over, sometimes I travel outside and I see pitches. You see kids playing on these pitches, and I'm excited. So what really drove me to move into AstroTurf has to do with passion.
He quit a well-paying job as communications manager of waste management company Zoom Lion to pursue this. An artificial turf is a surface of synthetic fibers made to look like natural grass. It requires no irrigation or trimming. It first gained attention in 1966.
When we have the land, all we need to take is the size of the land, and because we don't manufacture the artificial turf or the AstroTurf in Ghana, we send the size to our manufacturers, and then it takes them 1 week to do the manufacturing, after which it is shipped and then we clear at the port. But once we do that, then we are on site doing the earthworks.
When Robert conceived the idea some 5 years ago, he decided he and his team should get trained in Turkey. Then, they were prepared to carry out their first project at Kotobabi, a suburb of Accra.
When we did that park, Asamoah Gyan, the captain of the Black Stars, Stephen Appiah, the former captain of the Black Stars, Adebayo, Eto, and co, they all came to Kotobabi to play football there. And they were extremely excited about the quality. So after the football match, Asamoah Gyan met with myself and we discussed the possibility of we replicating what we have done in Kotobabi in Accra Academy.
But he has a bigger plan, what he calls the one constituency, one artificial turf. So far, Wembley has carried out construction work in 7 constituencies. The cost of artificial grass and installation varies depending on the kind of project. That could be around 200,000 Ghana cedis or more. When Robert started off, he got support from banks, which thought of his business idea as viable. But for the kind of project he's undertaking, he says he requires more funding, and then there's land litigation issues too.
You get to a place, you want to develop the land, and you have a lot of people coming in to claim ownership. For example, the land that we have at Labadi, they took it to court and we had to wait for a very long time before we started construction again. Secondly, funds is a huge problem. And you know, in recent times, if you have an idea and you want to develop and you go to the banks, even though Omni Bank helped us initially, Republic Bank is on board. We will wish that we will get a bank that will give us a huge line so that we can be able to replicate this AstroTurf in a lot of areas. Let me throw it to you. Throw it.
It's like a magnet.
Yes.
Like a magnet.
The football.
It sticks to the floor and comes back to you like a boomerang.
Yes. Do you like the football pitch?
Yes.
You like
Very
it?
nice.
Very nice. Okay. The impact we want to make is to transform the various pitches that we have. We have the normalization committee currently that has been set up by FIFA, and they are trying to normalize Ghana football. You understand? The problem or the question I keep on asking is that now we have a lot of teams playing the normalization special cup. But when you go to the football pitches that they play the matches on, I don't call them stadiums. They are all parks, and it is a huge problem.
And that is what Robert wants to fix with Wembley. He, like many others, wants to see an improvement in sporting facilities to develop talents and nurture society. Robert also wants to go into manufacturing of granules, the artificial turfs-based material made from recycled tires. While he works on that for now, Robert is propagating his message of one constituency, one artificial turf.
All that we want to do is that every constituency, schools, churches, metropolitan assemblies, we need to sell the idea to them. We came to Mary Mother, we sold the idea to them, and then they saw that, look, if they are able to do this, it will help the students. And the students are excited about it. As I speak to you now, we have approached all MPs, written formally to them, sent brochures to them. They have also written, expressing interest. So the vision that we have is about completion and ensuring that we have these artificial turfs everywhere in the country.
And West Africa, perhaps.
This is Wembley Sports Complex. That's the place that we all have fun. When you want to see all the Ghanaian professionals, you will see them here. They come here not because of anything, they come here because of the quality of the turf.
Indeed, impressive innovation there. Well, today on the Money Lab, we bring you more on how to invest right. The Executive Director of Financial Literacy for Africa, Dr. Richmond Kwame Frimpong, is a facilitator.
On Money Lab today, we delve deeper into investments. We've already talked about investment objective, duration, and risk-return profile. Now, to take a decision on what investment products to put your money into, your objective, your duration, and your risk-return profile will guide you into the different types of investment accounts we have. So if your objective is a long-term investment, then you should be looking at an investment that matures in 5 years or more. If your objective is a short-term objective, then you should be looking at an investment that matures in a year or less. If your objective is just a mid-term objective, then you should be looking at an investment that matures between 2 years and 4 years. It is the understanding of these durations that will help you to take the right investment product decision so that you do not put your investment into durations you are not ready for. When you don't do that, you are going to encounter difficulties in your returns, and that will discourage you from investing.
And that'll be all for the marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. We're so grateful that you joined us.